The story began with Thunderbolt Ross, who had become the President of the United States of America. As soon as he took office, he made a public statement saying, "We will all face together the celestial being that has emerged from the Indian Ocean." Ross was also talking about working with Captain America. The story then moved 5 months ahead, where Sam Wilson, as Captain America, teamed up with the U.S. Army to retrieve an important stolen package. Sam's suit now had Wakandan technology, but here, he encountered the leader of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder, who had taken several people hostage inside a building. Sam went in and rescued all of them, attempting to capture Sidewinder as well. However, one of Sidewinder's allies intervened, leading to a fight. While Sam was engaged in battle on the other side, Sam Wilson's friend, Torres, had now become the new Falcon and successfully secured the package. The scene then shifted to Ross, but his daughter, Betty Ross, was still upset with him. She did not believe that her father had truly changed. Meanwhile, Sam took Torres to train under Isaiah Bradley. At this moment, Sam received a call from Ross. Isaiah was not happy that Sam was working for the president, especially Thunderbolt Ross. But Sam explained that since Ross was the president of the country, he had to stand with him to give people hope. Sam then invited Isaiah to accompany him and Torres to a meeting at the White House. At the White House, Ross pulled Sam aside and told him, "I want you to reassemble the Avengers." Sam responded, "Sir, the Avengers broke apart last time because of the Sokovia Accords. What if history repeats itself? What if we disagree again?" Ross replied, "We will work things out together." Ross then addressed the world, revealing that the celestial being from the Indian Ocean contained a metal even stronger than Wakanda's vibranium. This metal was called adamantium. He explained that members of the Serpent Society had stolen it from a mining site in Japan, but Captain America and Falcon had recovered it. Ross proposed that all nations should share this metal through a mutual agreement so that every country could use it for development. However, at that moment, Isaiah suddenly stood up and attacked Ross. Several soldiers in the room also turned against Ross, but he managed to escape. Sam quickly pursued Isaiah, but Isaiah stopped and, confused, said, "What happened here? It feels like I don't remember anything." Sam urged him to surrender, and Isaiah was arrested. Later, Sam went to Ross to discuss the situation. Ross's security advisor, Ruth Batsarif, was also present. Sam insisted, "Isaiah couldn't have done this of his own will. There has to be another reason behind this," but Ross refused to listen, telling Sam to stay out of it just because Isaiah was his friend. He also went back on his promise to work together, saying that was before the attack happened. He dismissed Sam. Sam then went to meet Isaiah and asked, "Tell me what happened back there." Isaiah, still confused, said, "I was just listening to Ross speak, and the next thing I knew, I woke up outside in the park." He had no memory of what happened in between. He warned Sam, "Please stay away from me, or you'll get caught up in this too." That night, Sam and Torres analyzed the CCTV recordings. They noticed that a light blinked from Isaiah's phone right before he attacked. The same thing had happened to the other officers who turned on Ross. This indicated that the blinking light was a trigger for mind control. Meanwhile, Ross had also figured this out. Ross then made a call to a prison and asked, "Is the prisoner right in front of you?" The soldier on the other end replied, "Yes, sir," but there was nothing in front of him. Meanwhile, Sam was attacked by Sidewinder and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Sam was not powerful enough to fight them easily, but he somehow managed to defeat Sidewinder. Just then, a call came through on Sidewinder's phone. On the other side, due to the attack on Ross, Paris and India were now withdrawing from the Adamantium Treaty. Ross tried to convince them to stay, but they told him, "Fine, but first, convince Japan." The scene shifted back to Sam, who realized that Isaiah had the perfect opportunity to kill Ross, but still missed. This led Sam and Torres to track the location of the call they had intercepted. They discovered that the call had come from a completely deserted location. Sam and Torres set out for the location. Meanwhile, Ruth arrived at Isaiah's prison, but a mind-controlled soldier killed all the prisoners and then took his own life. The story shifted to Ross, who was flying to Japan to convince them to stay in the treaty. However, at that moment, he received a call from the mysterious man. Ross recognized him immediately and realized that he was also behind the attack. The man said, "You left me to rot in prison, but now I will make my own decisions. I will reveal your truth to the world, and when your daughter sees it, she will hate you even more." Meanwhile, Ruth had Isaiah's location changed to prevent anyone from killing him. At that moment, she received a call from Ross, instructing her to go to a prison, where Sam and Torres had already arrived after tracking the location of the call. Sneaking in, Sam and Torres discovered a hidden lab inside the prison. They found files containing details about Isaiah and the other soldiers. Among the files was one about Ross, which showed that this mysterious man had prescribed him certain medications. The scene then shifted to Japan, where the president of Japan declared, "We cannot work with you. You deliberately stole our adamantium." He even presented evidence to Ross. Ross replied, "No, that's not true. You are naive for falling into this trap." However, upon hearing himself being called naive, the Japanese president withdrew from the treaty. The story then returned to Sam and Torres. Sam discovered the truth about the mysterious man. He was Dr. Samuel Stearns, a friend of Bruce Banner. Stearns had been searching for a cure for Bruce, hoping to use his blood to treat major diseases like cancer. However, during the battle between Hulk and Abomination, some of Hulk's blood had entered his system, affecting his brain and changing his appearance. Stearns explained, "Ross imprisoned me even though I did nothing wrong. He has been using me for 16 years. Ross has not changed. He knows that I am behind this attack, and yet he still imprisoned your friend Isaiah instead of me." At that moment, Stearns unleashed a group of mind-controlled soldiers on Sam and Torres before escaping. As Sam and Torres fought the soldiers, Ruth arrived to join them. The three of them took down the soldiers and made their way out. Meanwhile, Ross was filled with frustration and anger over the entire situation. He declared, "If Japan refuses to agree to the treaty, then we will control all the adamantium ourselves." Ross was even prepared for a full-scale war. On the other side, Sam, Torres, and Ruth arrived at a military base where Sam had Sidewinder imprisoned. Sam interrogated him about Stearns. Sidewinder revealed Stearns didn't gain strength from Hulk's blood. He gained an extraordinary intellect. Instead of curing him, Ross subjected him to even more gamma radiation to enhance his intelligence, forcing him to develop new technologies and weapons. In return, Ross had promised Stearns that once he became president, he would release him. But Ross never kept his promise. At that moment, Sam realized the truth. Stearns had intentionally paid the Serpent Society to steal Japan's adamantium. His goal was to ignite a conflict between the USA and Japan, ultimately triggering a war. Sam quickly flew to the location where the U.S. Navy had already arrived with warships. He confronted Ross, saying, "Look, both of us know who is truly behind all of this." Just then, Stearns mind-controlled two pilots flying in the sky. Meanwhile, on the ground, Sam was questioning Ross, asking why that man had his file and what connection he had with him. It was then revealed that Ross was dying. His heart was failing, and only Stearns' medication was keeping him alive. Ross had kept Stearns imprisoned all this time because he feared that if Stearns were released, he would no longer receive the medicine he needed to survive. Ross admitted, "I want to stay alive so that my daughter can see me and understand that I have changed." Just then, they received shocking news. Two of their fighter jets had attacked Japan. Sam and Torres immediately rushed to stop them. In response, Japanese fighter jets also arrived, and soon, American jets were attacking. Japan and the U.S. were now attacking each other. Sam and Torres struggled to stop the escalating conflict. On the ground, the Japanese president refused to listen to Ross. At that moment, Ross received a call from Stearns. "Let out your anger," Stearns said. "Reveal your truth. Show Japan that you can end everything with your rage. You can win this war easily. Release the monster within you." Just then, while stopping a missile, Torres got injured. Seeing this, Sam quickly stopped one of the remaining jets. As soon as Ross heard that the last jet had been stopped, he calmed down. Torres was taken to the hospital, but his condition was extremely critical. Meanwhile, Bucky came to see Sam. Sam, feeling overwhelmed, said, "Steve handled 2 alien invasions, and here I am, unable to handle even the battles on this planet. I'm not worthy of being Captain America. Steve made the wrong choice in picking me." To this, Bucky replied, "No, you are worthy. Steve didn't choose you because you were the strongest. He chose you because you are you. Even as an ordinary human, you give your best." Meanwhile, Sam's military friend discovered that the pills Ross had been taking were filled with gamma radiation. But before he could inform Sam, Stearns arrived and killed him. The scene then shifted to Ross, whose daughter, Betty Ross, finally answered his call. Ross invited her, saying, "Let's go see the cherry blossoms together like we used to." After this, Ross was scheduled to hold a press conference. Meanwhile, Stearns confronted Sam, saying, You ruined everything in the Indian Ocean, but today, you will learn Ross's true nature." Just then, the media received an article sent by Stearns. The speaker started playing recorded calls between Stearns and Ross, exposing Ross's secrets. Enraged, Ross's true self was revealed. He transformed into Red Hulk. Ross looked at himself in the mirror as his own security forces turned against him. Sam arrived to confront Ross, who was now raging and destroying everything in sight. Their fight took them to the roof of the White House. Sam tried to lead Ross away from populated areas to avoid harming civilians. Eventually, they ended up fighting amidst the cherry blossom trees. Ross was far stronger than Sam. Though Sam managed to injure him, the wounds barely affected Ross. When Ross landed a powerful punch, Sam's entire suit absorbed the kinetic energy. As Sam tried to unleash it back at Ross, Ross grabbed Sam's wing and tore it apart. Sam, using the remaining wing's energy, launched a final blast at Ross, but even that did nothing. Sam then said, "Ross, I know you're trying to change. Show the world that you can. Show your daughter." As Ross saw the cherry blossoms falling around him, he remembered his daughter. The memory calmed him down. Ross was then taken into custody. The scene shifted to Isaiah, who was finally released. Sam went to meet him. Later, Sam visited the Raft, the most secure prison, where Ross was now held. Ross had admitted to all his crimes, stepped down from the presidency, and accepted his punishment. A deal between Japan and the U.S. regarding adamantium was finally settled. At last, Betty Ross came to see her father in prison. Meanwhile, Torres regained consciousness in the hospital. And with that, our movie comes to an end. How did you like this explanation? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.